Dos, uno, uno, dos, tres. Check, check. All right, let me see. Let me see. I got some device around here somewhere. Check, check. Whoop. All right, so hopefully YouTube didn't switch up on me. It looks like I'm okay at the moment. So, yeah, I think we good to go. I'll give y'all a solid, let's see. All right, yeah, we gave everybody about 5 minutes to get on in here. And I'm able to light it up. All right, let's see who else we got in here. All right, Raphael. Yeah, what's happening? What's happening? Y'all get to have fun with the daytime version of me versus the versus the versus the 6 p.m. and above version of me. All right. So we got Chocolate Girl in here. We got Lily in here. Beautiful Lucille. Raphael. Sometimes we got Cray Cray in here. Chambers Crayon was happening. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it is afternoon technically. Okay. And then anybody on YouTube, let me see. I want to learn at the same time on how to navigate. Um, my brother gave me some advice on when you're growing your audience and when you're doing your thing. He says you might want to try to make it happen simultaneously versus building up one community and then trying to build up another community. All right. All right. Let's see. All right. What's up, love? All right. Yeah, we got, okay. Look at us. All right. Look at us tuned in on YouTube. All right. Here we go. So, surviving or thriving, guys. Which one are you doing? Which one in your day to day? What you got going on? What state do you believe that you operate from? When you wake up in the morning and you navigating throughout your day, you navigating throughout your decisions, what position do you feel like you're navigating? Are you in survival mode or you in thriving mode? Talk to me. Can't wait for the night. Yeah, tonight should be cool. Yeah, tonight should be real cool. 7:30 is the time I'm aiming to go on. My set time is actually 8 o'clock to 8:30, but I like to try to get the ball rolling and get the energy rolling and do a set beforehand or do a set that allows the energy to go. Cause if I'm playing like 2 minutes of a song, 30 minutes, I'm like 20. Oh, I'm not even really 20 songs in. So I like to create the vibration. I like to create the energy. I like to allow people to come in, get settled, and I'm an appetizer. You know what I mean? I'm a real good appetizer that allows you to establish the energy that you want to be in to receive the live band and what you're about to receive next. So that's how I work. All right. So Chocolate Girl, you say thriving most of the time. I believe I'm thriving, but sometimes life blows and feels like I'm surviving. Okay, 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 okay. What we got? We got a both. I got we got a both. And okay, so let's see. So one, knowing the difference in what surviving and what thriving is. The difference between surviving and thriving is often the difference in the state of living in constant survival mode, meaning that you're just trying to you're likely defensive. There's some version of just trying to meet a minimum, and you're not really in the position to put anything to grow. You're not really in the position to put yourself in a position to be in joy. So look at those mental states. The difference between surviving and thriving is often the difference between living in a state of constant defense and living in a state of active growth. So which one is which? Constant defense, survival mode. Active growth, which is what we want to do. We're here to grow. We're in thriving mode. So when you're surviving, you're just trying to meet the necessary foundation during times of crisis. And that's a lot of times what we put ourselves in that thought process. So I think throughout our day, like when we eat, just let's go to that one. Let's look at eating. Are you eating to survive or you're eating to thrive? Okay. And now are you going into excess? Because if you're eating to grow and those things, that's one thing. If you're eating just to survive, that means you're possibly not really paying attention to the things that you're supplementing and putting into your body. When you go into a dating scenario or the person that you're with, Are you guys actively operating in a survival mode and you just trying to meet the minimum of that relationship? Or are you putting yourself in a position to where you're thriving in that relationship and y'all are figuring out new things about one another? And then within those things that you figure out, you're then now putting yourself in a position to grow with one another and figure out new levels that you guys can, reach. And then from there, the new levels, if you have a family, you teach the family. So the difference in thriving and survival, I mean, the line is very distinct. And then in the version, because this conversation is a continuance of my Friday conversation where we talked about the appetite. And from there, the appetite, I broke it down in the three ways that I observe the appetite affects us. One, the appetite affects us in the food that we eat, the food we desire, the food that we crave. So all we're doing now is looking at, are you eating food in survival mode and you just eating ramen noodles and you eating burritos from the gas station and you just eating some random pizza that you found somewhere and you just doing something to do something, or you thriving and you're making the conscious decision within your appetite for whatever it is that you need for your body, and you're thriving and you're putting yourself in a position to grow where you say, you know what, I'm going to get my antioxidants in today, I'm going to eat my berries, I'm going to get my proper hydration in today, I want to make sure that the body is fluid and I can move and my kidneys are flowing well, I'm flushing, I'm doing the things that I need to do to make sure that this vessel, which is 70 to 90% water, arguably, I want to make sure I have the proper fluids in it. And then when I go to put the nutrition in my body, am I operating in excess? Am I operating from a position of thrival? And I say, you know what? I'm going to only eat things that are caught in the wild. I'm only going to eat certain vegetables that I know that haven't been completely over stimulated with what is that pesticides and stuff like that. What am I doing here when I drink something? Is this going towards the nurturing of me, or is this going to be something that's going to put me in a toxic state, and next thing you know, I'm all happy and giggly and bubbly, and this is the way that I'm functioning from a spirits standpoint, to where I have to be under some version of influence. So that's the appetite version of how we apply surviving or thriving. What are you doing there in your appetite? And then the next part of our conversation was about the type of mate that you choose. So in mine at 24 years old, I was now having the more conscious decision of the type of women that I date, or that in this case scenario, I was on my way to having a daughter. And it was like I started to realize and have some that come to understanding moment, and some reflection was kicking in, like, oh, did I make the right decision? And so now I'm like, okay, this is a thing that men often end up dealing with. They end up dealing with the type of women, and women vice versa. Whoever you choose as your mate, whoever you choose to lay up next to, whoever you choose to have those intimate moments with, whoever you choose to spend a lot of your intimate time with, whoever you call that quote unquote significant other or others, are they in a position of survival, or are they in a position of thriving? Are they actively growing within themselves? And then when they show up to you, they put themselves in a position to help you grow and recognize if you're in survival or thriving mode, or are y'all both just showing up and y'all both just trying to survive? Could you be in a position of just trying to survive, meet your needs, and just make the bare minimum? And then you look over at them and you like, oh, you thriving. Is that what attracted you to them? That could be another thing that a lot of people don't pick up on. So this is something that, in your conscious decision of the appetite that you have for the significant other that you're dealing with, or procreating with, or cohabitate with, or have a family with, or family members, how are they approaching their life experience? Are they approaching it from a survival standpoint, or are they approaching it from a thriving standpoint? Now, me personally, I aim in all of my existence, in all things that I touch, I want to be in the position of a constant state of active growth. That's why I'm here. I'm a human being, meaning I'm of hue, I'm a man, and I'm a being. I'm in the constant state of becoming. That's who I am. So as a human being in the spiritual me, existing in the vessel of this hue man, I'm here and I want to be in a place where I've exceeded surviving and I am in thriving, an active state of growth, an active state of becoming. And what I'm aiming to become is always better than what I was the day before, or the year before, the month before, the week before, the decade before, or from birth, whatever that state is. So a lot of us realize that within the food that we eat, it's only based on surviving, and we've constantly had those type of survival foods passed down to us. Then you have the foods that I'm sorry, then you have the people that are your parents or your grandparents or your ancestors or the people that are in your immediate community. A lot of them are just in survival mode. They just, oops, they created, and they was just trying to survive and just in survival state out here going and making kids. Because I can't even say you were procreating, because a procreator, that person goes in and sits down and says, all right, let's see. I want to make sure that we pass down. Okay, what type of genes do you have? Okay. And how's your family dynamic? Okay. What's your financial situation looking like? Okay. And what do we have that runs in your side of the family? Okay. Well, for me and my side of the family have A, B, C, and D. A lot of my family is well versed in music. I have a few people that have some behavioral issues that we know of. And I'm starting to see since the year of 2000 that we have a few autism cases. But other than that, I think we're okay. Da 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 da. Okay. And what do you have? That's procreating. And then you say, in the processes of us procreating, I'm going to put my thought into that procreation. What you thinking? You thinking a boy? How tall? About 6'2"? I'm about 5'10". I'm 6 foot. Um, in my family, the men run 5'10" to 6'1", so we might have a chance of 6 foot. Okay, and what about you? The women in your family, if we have a girl, what you thinking? Okay, okay, okay. So about 5'8", 5'9". That's pretty okay, that's good. What you thinking? Slim. That's procreating. But a lot of us are just surviving and oopsing, just helping out. But what happened? Bringing negativity into, let's see. What are you doing? Screen? Bringing negativity into positive thoughts and change. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on with it. So with that being said, that's the thought process when you approach your appetite and now you apply the process of thinking, survival mode or thrival mode. Now let's get to the one that I like to touch on, which is the one that I picked up on later, which is who you surround yourself around, the information you receive, the type of energy and information and stuff that you're interested in. That's what I want to touch next, and that is the algorithm. So within your appetite, you have the food appetite, you have the type of person that you want to partner with, procreate with, create family with, something like that in that nature, and then and extend the species, the survival of the species, and then you have the algorithmic aspect that's just a summary of the type of things that you're prone to. So you grew up in a family of bowlers, and you go bowling. You grew up with your dad and your brother who went to the driving range. You know how to play golf. Your mom played tennis. Your mom sang and was in the choir, and then you used to go to choir practice with her. Your father is a professor at a university. You sat in class with him in that university. Now you're such a great teacher, or you pick up on his leading ways and how he informed people. So the other aspect is you heard your mama on that phone. Ha ha ha, girl. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, I seen sister such and such wearing this. Now look at you. What is that algorithm? You're surrounded around mess. You see your mama going to church one way, and then you see her come out and she smiled at all them people's faces and amen, sister, and I'm gonna pray for you. And then she turned around and came home and got on that phone and was being messy. Or Deacon such and such is your uncle, and Deacon such and such was at Sister Johnson's house, and now you see that type of mess. Or you on Instagram and you sending negative stuff. Oh, look at such and such. She got into a car wreck. Sin. Oh, look at this. This going on between Iran and Israel. Blah blah blah. Look, it's one thing to be informed in your algorithm. It's another thing to perpetuate mess. How you see what happened to Pastor such and such at his church? Yeah, he asked him to shut the doors and send over, and he wasn't leaving till he got 50,000. Just think about that. Are you informing, or is there a version of messy? Ooh, such and such business went down. She got indicted. He got indicted. Ooh, did you hear about such and such? Oh, girl said that he did this, this, and this. Ooh, you see what he said about her? He said she had an OnlyFans and blah 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 blah. A lot of this is mess. So, what appetite do you have, and how are you meeting in survival and thrival mode in how you approach your algorithm? Is the information you're receiving just based on survival? Is it are these things even helping you survive? Remember, surviving is living in a state of constant defense. And what I think that is transpiring is a lot of the algorithm that we're engaged in, or like what we end up being a part of in our social medias, a lot of it puts us in survival mode. A lot of it puts us in a position to where we experience traumas that are not our traumas. Now we're empathizing and trauma bonding with somebody that we don't actually have the initial side of the trauma. Has anyone looked at that? Maria, how are you? So, has anybody ever thought about that? Has anybody ever thought about a lot of these traumas that we're experiencing are not really our traumas? So, how are we thriving in those traumas? I don't think we are. So, that's the initial way how I want to approach the conversation today. I guess when I get to going, I don't know why I get to burping and hiccuping sometimes. I'm gonna work on my dictation and then my breath. All right. So if everyone is tuned in, reminder: the difference between surviving and thriving is often the difference between living in a state of constant defense, which a lot of us in our algorithm, we're put in that state, and thriving, living in a state of active growth. Active growth is something that you want to be in. While surviving is necessary foundation during times of crisis, think about that. It associates surviving with crises. So look at our world that we live in. We're constant in a state of crises, 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 and you're just trying to make it through that crisis. You see how that works? Nothing but crisis. And we just trying to figure it out as these new things happen. Thriving represents the expansion of your potential once basic needs are met and your safety is secured. So think about it, ladies. If you're in a relationship and you're always on your toes, like some of you all who are going to watch this, you're in a relationship where you live in your head. So constantly you just living in your head and making up what if scenarios and pondering if he did this, pondering if he did that, going through phones, fellas, vice versa. I wonder where she at. I wonder who she hanging with. I can't trust her homegirls because that homegirl is that homegirl. You're in a thought process of survival. You're not thriving. You're not thinking, you know what? Let me go look up Caribbean destinations with cheap flights to where we can go have us a good time. That's some thrival thought process, huh? That's a thrival thought process. So thriving is what you want to do every day. I knew what thriving was, but one time the person who wants my demise, which was the person who I procreated with, and mistakes happen, but the signs were there. And I ignored so many signs, so many signs. And I don't have regrets. But when it boils down to if I could have did it over, I would have listened to my signs. The signs were there. The guides were there. They said it. But I being innocent, I being naive, I giving a person a benefit of the doubt. I'm thinking, this person can grow, this person can change, just all those things. I'm thinking from a thriving perspective, but nothing in our relationship ever thrived. That's another part of the signs. We didn't thrive. So, with that being said, I didn't approach the relationship in that manner. And now I procreated with a person who constantly always put me in survival mode. I'm just trying to survive during whatever this drama is that I'm experiencing with this person. And I constantly was put into that tailspin. Subconsciously, I didn't know what I was dealing with. I figured that out later. So, with that being said, women as mothers, women as sisters, women as grandmothers, women as aunt, women as co-workers at your job, what type of energy are you projecting? What type of energy are you showing up as? What type of energy are you responding to? Are you the example of to those people who see you? Are you a woman that's constantly trying to survive, and your primary goal is just trying to minimize losses and staying safe? Is that your only thought process, and everything that you do is this emotional response to everything? Or are you thriving and you putting yourself in a position to maximize your potential? And as a man or a woman, your masculine or your feminine is putting other people around you in a position to find fulfillment. They're put in a position to find their potential being expanded upon. You're put in a position to figure out the gifts that's within you, and you can expound upon those gifts. And then because you're surviving, you're past surviving, I'm sorry, you're thriving, you're in a position to recognize the gifts in others and speak to those things. Yeah, shout out to everybody liking and joining. Thank you, Lily, for moderating in here today. Thank you. So with that being said, which one are you? Which one do you operate from? Are you operating from thriving, or are you operating from surviving? Let's look at your mindset. Are you operating from a space of scarcity, or are you operating from a space of abundance? Surviving and thriving is the exact same thing. It's abundant thought process, or scarcity thought process. Are you only thinking, oh, I don't know if I got it. Ah, I don't know if I'll be able to. Is this enough for me? Ah, I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna work. Hmm? Are you operating from scarcity, survival mode? Or are you operating from abundance, thriving mode? Let's look at another one. How is your focus? A lot of times you can tell if you're in survival mode by your short-term thinking, which is immediately what you experiencing, and you just trying to ward them off you, or you in thriving mode and you thinking long term. Yeah, I'm gonna go set up some financial planning. Yeah, I'm finna go set up a trust. Yeah, I'm finna go set up that LLC. Yeah, I'm finna go set up that corporation. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do an audit, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this accounting that I needed to do. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call ahead and set up these plans. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and plan this for this date. That's the thought process of a person who's in abundance. That's who that is. A person in abundance is thinking from a growth perspective. A person in abundance that's in a garden is thinking, you know what? I'm gonna add some more tomatoes over here. A person in abundance that's in a thriving thought process says, you know what? I'm going to invest this here, or I'm going to set this up to where this can make more money. So in the future, I don't have to try to work for my money. I'm gonna let my money work for me. That's thriving. That's abundance. That's maximizing potential. That's maximizing the fulfillment that you want out of life. Short term focus is, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pay these bills. Oh, I don't know if I got rent this month. Oh, barely made it. Not getting evicted. Whew. Thank God for this meal. I didn't know where my next meal is coming from. Scarcity. Not really out here making it. You're just doing one small thing to the next small thing. And I'm not talking about on an achievement basis. I'm talking about never would have made it. I'm talking about that. So let's look at the energy state. Are you in a reactive energy state? What we got? We got somebody calling in. I don't want to. Let me see. 403. Um, I'm gonna have to call them back. Hopefully, my camera don't freeze when they call. I don't know who that is. We'll have to call back. All right, no, we not connecting. Let me see. How do I tell them now we not connected? All right. Anyway, so from there, from your energy state, from the energy, Didi, I can sing a little bit. I got a little, I got a little, I got a little tune within me. So yeah, so that's funny, but Now I can't whoa. Let me positive speak. I'm not classically trained in singing, but in my tone and certain notes that I hit and just me playing around, I can match or emulate frequency. At a young age, I didn't transition properly when I needed to. So at a young age, I was in choirs and stuff like that. I sang. But when puberty kicked in and I got this voice and all that bass showed up, I didn't go in and revisit the vocal cords as I needed to. So that's how you hear the fluctuation in my voice. I know what to register when I'm promoting the I Am Energizer podcast on YouTube. I can vary through those. So that's how that works. And then, like, if I'm in my father voice, hey, sit down. What I asked you to, you see, I can vary. So yeah, that's how that go. All right, hit that plus sign for the follow, like Lily. Come here, Lily. Let me add you on up here. You're gonna end up being a moderator. You keep it up. I'm gonna slide you on in there. All right, so let's get back to it. So we're talking about surviving. We're talking about thriving on today's live lunch podcast episode on the I Am Energizer podcast on YouTube. Make sure you check out that channel. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that plus button, like Lily said. So the energy state that you in. So remember, you are an energy. You are a spiritual energy, right? That comes from source. That is the real existence of what is going on. It starts in spirit. No ifs, ands, or buts, non-negotiable. And in the truth bearer that I am, and the knowledge and the knowing that I have, both in this life and the spiritual knowledge that I have as a whole, whatever you think or been taught or whatever they have in on them other ends of religion and all that other good stuff, that is fine. I'm not here to dispute that with you, because when you are the truth and you know what you don't do no disputing. I don't need to argue with anybody about something that I know to be the true of true. You exist first, spirit. That is your real existence. So everything you do in this vessel body that has a operating system and other systems that are within it from the divine creator that made these systems and provided you this vessel, you are a steward of the vessel, and with that you are supplied with energy, and from that spirit energy source, and then this systems that are collective in this vessel, it has this energy source, and then you have other things that fuel that energy source. So in your energy state, are you a reactive energy state, constantly responding to external things and external energies, external negativities, and just trying to figure it out? Or are you a proactive energy and you say, you know what, today I'm going to go and I'm going to run a mile. Today I'm going to go to the gym. Today I'm going to go sit by the lake and I'm going to contribute time to myself, and I'm going to cut my phone off and I'm just going to have some great private time to my energy. Are you that type of energy in who you are? You know what? I see I gained a few pounds. I'm going to fast a few days and then I'm going to correct my eating. I'm not going to eat sugar. I'm not going to eat starches. Um, I'm going to refrain from eating these chips and these processed foods and things that I know that don't serve me. So, are you that proactive person within your energy? Someone rolls up on you. Did you know you could stop a sneeze by holding your nose? Did y'all know that? If you are about to sneeze, let's say you're out in public and you feel it coming on, just pinch your nose and it stops the sneeze. Anyway, so Energizer brings positive energy. I am Energizer, one that infuses other with energy, and that is my job. Yeah, and the proactiveness of my energy, I'll shut down. If I see that negative energy coming, and you're about to cross the barrier that my private energy exists, my positive proactive energy exists behind that boundary of positive energy that separates me from the negative energies, guess what I'm doing? I'm gonna speak up on it. Hey, don't bring that negative energy over here. Hey, not coming up in here, you don't. Hey, don't get in my car with that negative energy. Hey, appreciate you. Matter of fact, here's a better one. I learned the power of removing myself. That's another great boundary, too. That's me being proactive. I know for a fact your negative energy is rubbing off on me, and I'm starting to have certain sentiments towards you. Let me remove myself real quick because I wasn't having that energy about you or towards the things I'm having towards till you came around. Let me be proactive and remove myself from it. What is your stress level? Are you a high chronic cortisol um uh uh exuding flowing person that has this fight or flight energy upon you? That's a survivor. That's like you being in the wild with the animals and you are just impala just drinking at the watering hole and the next thing you know, a alligator or a crocodile or something shows up. And then you boom in that situation, you fight or flight. That is a high stress level situation. Are you putting yourselves in situations in life that put you in a position to stress highly? Like, oh, you knew you needed to go get them tags on your vehicle, but now all you do is ride around with them expired tags, hoping and stressing that hopefully you don't get pulled over, or you know it's something that you need to go handle and you constantly put it off, but you worrying about it because you hope that this is not go be something that's going to affect you or in a detrimental way. You're constantly in the position of fight or flight. Even how you speak to people and how hey, how you doing? It's like that energy comes about you. You're constantly in a position of stress. Got to think about it. You in survival mode. We got to get up out of there. And then the next one in your stress level state, you're managing and you're in a position of just positive energy and that puts you and drives your growth. So if you're looking at a person that's always looking to expand, always looking to grow, always looking to, speaking positive within you, always speaking high of themselves and speaking high of other, that's a thriving person. They don't got time for the lesser. So look at how their energy state. You think they're stressed? Ain't no way. Now, money ain't the end all be all. Yeah, it helps, but these sound like people that got, they got their stuff going on and they not letting nothing hold them back. That's the energy you want to exude. And I'm not saying for my introverts out there, I'm not saying you got to run down the street and say hi to everybody and tell everybody that although you might speak and have this straight face all the time, I'm not telling you you got to go down and announce it to everybody. I'm saying that internally, the spiritual energy within you is happy, is upbeat, it's looking to be on the positive side of things. Denitra, what's happening? What's happening? So that's who you have to be unapologetically. You have to be the happy, thriving side of who you are. Let's get to the relationships that you're in. A lot of times when people are in survival mode, a lot of their relationships, and this just hit me because I now think about it, a lot, and I experienced this in a relationship and I articulated how that relationship, that person operated from a transactional state. In another relationship that I was in, I spoke to how a lot of how they operate within the way how they quote unquote love is transactional, it's conditional. And so a lot of times in your relationships, a person that's thriving is in a unconditional state and their love is not transactional. Their how they operate is not from a transactional state. People who are constantly trying to survive, they operate from a transactional state. What you do for me, I do for you. You did this for me, I did this for you. You didn't do this for me, I'm not doing that for you. That's a surviving person. That's an interesting space to be in. I want y'all to go do an audit of some of y'all relationships and see how that energy um see how that energy flows. MC, what's happening? Lady C, what's happening? Yeah. Yeah. I'm in here cooking. We talking about surviving or thriving. Um, that man, MC, we hit that 80s. We hit some 80s music last night. I did 6 to about what I did like 2 hours. I think I did 6 to 8. Oh, I did 6 to almost 8:30. Man, either way, we was jamming last night. Um, I downloaded it And I'm looking at new ways that, like, when I do those downloads, that I could post them. So I'm gonna try to put it on YouTube again, so you could go in. Like, if you miss my lives, you could shoot over to YouTube and, you know what I'm saying, get it. But another way, I need to go into the website aspect and then have it that way too, or maybe like a private community where, you could slide on over and catch them lives and get your music fixed when you miss your boy. Because, I'm energy. I'm always here. Denitra, you too. I'm energy. I'm always here. So just know I ain't too far away. So, in your relationships, I want you to do an audit. Audit your relationships and figure out, are these relationships transactional or relational? Okay. Are they based on the energy and the wholeness of who you are? Let's say you're my wife. Let's say I love you from the purest part of my heart. If I see that it's certain things that you need, I'm executing those things. If I see your energy off, I'm hugging you, I'm loving you. If I see you're more quiet, or there's something going on, I'm asking you, hey, what's up? Let me be the platform to where you can have that conversation. If I see that, you might be doing some penny pinching, hey, let me go ahead and cash app you real quick. Let me go ahead and send that Apple Pay real quick. Let me go ahead and, hey, you need something? I'm here because I'm thriving. My cup is running over. I'm a provider. I want to be in the position to where I know that the position that you're not gonna operate and make decisions from, you're not gonna operate and make those decisions from a just trying to survive aspect. Because when you're in those relationships and you have those coexistence with people and they just operate from a, oh, I'm just trying to make it happen, you don't put yourself in a position to grow in a lot of instances. You just trying to make it past that thing and meeting that bare minimum. Nah, y'all are now back to transactions. Because guess what? When you're not putting yourself in a position to grow and you don't think that way, guess what? You go be into the new transactional thing. Now go and audit those people that were in your life where it was like they only hit you up for that thing. They only hit you up for that drink. They only hit you up to go do those hood rat things with their friend that they love doing hood rat things with. Or it's always something that they need out of you for you to give them. It's transactional. And then they not there when you really need them. You know how many times that I had to end up learning how transactional my relationships were when I really thought that they were relationships and I'd been for them. But you know what? When I ended up going through things, I was going through them things by myself. But when they went through stuff, I was side by side with them. I helped them carry that energy, that quote unquote stress that they had. I didn't carry the stress, but I had my backpack open if they needed help. I had my hands out if they needed help. I was right there with them. I financially assisted them, but I realized it was only transactional. Because when I went through stuff, they wasn't there for me. They didn't pick up on I was going through something. You know, they were busy when I called to talk. See? So audit them relationships, see if it's transactional or relational. Let's go to health. When you're surviving on your health side of things, you're looking at survival in a maintenance type of way. So, spirit first, you have vessel that you're entrusted with, stewardship. You come down here, you got certain lessons you got to learn. You're in the school of life, and being in the school of life, you're entrusted with a vessel and you got to navigate that vessel. So you have an operating system, and then you got other systems that helps handle, and it's like the median between thoughts that need to happen and things that need to occur and need to do in the physical, and then it's the median between the heart and the mind. That operating system then communicates a lot of times with spirit. Okay. And then from there, higher self, spiritual guides, those things. Some of you guys call angels, some of you guys call ancestors. um Higher self, higher version of you spiritually that knows, like, hey, that ain't what we supposed to be doing. We not supposed to be on that. That's not why we're here. That's not our gift. That's not our calling. That's not what we agreed to come down here and learn in school. Man, you over here in beauty school, you need to be over here in engineering school. You over here with an OnlyFans, you supposed to be a lawyer. You supposed to, it's trying to get you in the right direction. So when you get to your health, which is the part of maintaining the vessel, which is the thing that is accumulating all the things that you invest into it from a health standpoint. That could be the things that you eat, the people you surround yourself with, The type of energies you're around. Remember, I talk about algorithm, partnerships, and things of that nature, and appetite for food and those things that goes down to health. So when you operate from a surviving standpoint, all you trying to do is avoid illness and avoid burnout. That's literally all. I'm just trying not to get sick. I'm just putting food so I don't pass out. I'm just doing this so I don't do that. That's your thought process because you just surviving. And that's what your health go look like. It's gonna reflect that. Dark circles up under the eyes, acne, breaking out, uh, heat flashes, so many things that go on. I'm a little dizzy. All those things come from what? You just surviving. Now look at you with vitality because you thriving. Vitality is optimizing the physical and mental energy within who you are. So that's who I want to be. That's who I am. That's what I look at every day. Never drink, never smoke, never try the DRUG, never wanted to try it, never wanted to do any of those things. I knew from a young age that I want to thrive. I put myself in a position to thrive, to show my vitality. 7 miles yesterday, executed, came right on in and DJ for 2.5 hours. Vitality. Then from there, anybody call me, talk to me, I'm going to speak to you from a thriving mental perspective. Hey man, how you doing today? Hey, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like you're not healing. That sounds like you need the tools to go in and recognize the things that need to be healed from the things you're experiencing, and you're not operating from a trauma standpoint, which constantly puts you in survival mode, and it gets you at a healed standpoint, which puts you at a thriving mode, which puts you at vitality versus just maintenance. See what I put together there? I'm loving the mini version of people that is working for me. Okay. All right. I love the mini version of people is working for me. Okay. Let's see what you said. A lot of times big-hearted people get drained by wrong people because those people are just surviving. Big-hearted people are thriving in a big heart. Okay. Big-hearted people are usually the people who are thriving. You're not really operating from a place of you're not no, you thriving. You thriving. You're not just scavenging and just trying to figure it out. So that's why we end up quote unquote getting burnt out because we end up trying to help survivors. So what are they doing? I'm a survivor. I'm not. I ain't got time for that. Mm-mm. What? Ain't nobody got time for that. All right. So let's look at your decision making because in your day to day, that's gonna be the thing that makes or breaks you. We, in our spiritual energy and through the covenant that the Creator provided us and how He established His systems, His system has been communicated to us that we have free will. And the evidence of that free will exists in multiple things that we do. And regardless on how many systems, how many opposition systems try to quote unquote control us, what a lot of what we experience boils down to the choices that we make in our free will decisions, and those free choices line us up with the cause and effect or the end result or the byproduct or the consequence of what we're going to experience. So when you get to decision making, is your decision making based from a survival fear based thought process, or is it from decision making from like a values base? Because values create standards. The terminology values clearly speaks for itself. So, do you have morals and values about yourself? You see how that works? These are things that have a certain asset within you, that have a certain worth within you. So, how are you approaching your decision making? Are you approaching it from a choosing something that aligns with your purpose? You know, I like as a DJ, that's huge for me in that part of my life. In my dating platform or my dating life? Am I lining up with someone who loves me and genuinely cares about me and is not always in some version of minimalizing loss or trying to have some version of scare or operating from a version of scarcity? Am I around or dealing with a woman that's a short term thinker? Am I dealing with a woman who is reactive instead of proactive? Am I dealing with a woman that's always in some high stress scenario with some type of chronic stress or chronic tripping or chronic anxiety and always operating from that thought process? Am I dealing with a person that's transactional while they're dealing with me? Am I dealing with a person that's just barely making it and just doing maintenance type things? Am I operating with a person that's fear based in their decision making? Or am I operating with a person that's value based that says, no, I'm not doing that. In my DJ profession, I'm not dealing with that type of person. If I'm up here and I've been DJing for 23 years of my life, and then before that, I had another 20 something years of dealing with music, learning music, dancing to music, choreography to music, all the things that come with music that I was able to participate in before I even became a DJ, and then I show up here and some person saw me doing my thing, heard about me do my thing, had some version of reference of me doing my thing, and you want to walk up on me and give me suggestions? Do I look like the person that needs suggestions? I'm not saying I'm above suggestions because that's how we grow, that's how we learn. But what I'm saying is, if I'm on a stage, like with your preachers on a stage, I'm on a stage like when they have podiums for law enforcement, and I'm on a podium or somewhere higher up, like what a judge is, or I'm somewhere that puts me in a distinct place, and someone had to use some type of discernment, decision making, or process to get me in that space or put me in that place, and they're gonna pay me in that place, and we have particular agreements. Yeah, there's some type of values that exist within them, and I'm going to enforce the values within me, the boundaries within me. Think of your boundaries as the encapsulating thing that holds in your value. That is the encapsulating thing that holds on to your moral base. And if someone is taking away from your values, for example, I don't do substances, I don't do things that are going to toxin the body. So that is my value. So if I'm around a bunch of people that do that, I got to move around. That goes against my values. If I'm around a person who constantly lies, I am innately a truth teller. So I can't be around a liar. That goes against my values. Okay. So, with that being said, what you really want to do is, in the characteristic of being stuck in survival mode, you're in a trauma state. And this um that is this version of what you would call contraction. All right. You're constantly feeling like the world is closing in, and you're constantly in a position to where you're condensing. But when you thrive and you're on the side of positivity, and you're on the side of growth, and you're on the side of being the better version of you, and you're adding to your values, you're adding assets and new values and morals to who you are, you're in an expansive state. When you're in survival mode, you're in the water and you just treading water, hoping you don't drown. Oh my God, I don't know how to swim. What if the wave takes me out? If I go under, I can't hold my breath long. Oh my God. Oh, okay. I'm still here. Oh, I'm still here. Oh, the water's so cold. The water's so cold. What if something eats me? Oh my God. What am I going to do? Survival mode, thriving. I'm in expansive mode. I ain't treading no water. I'm backstrokes. I'm freestyles. Man, I got a little time to play around. I'm swimming like a frog. Guess what? I might be from the army, but I know a guy that went to the Navy, and he taught me a different way how to survive. And I can turn around and lay on my side. That's a person of an expansive mindset. That's a person who is expanding in their energy. That is a person that has met the minimal survival tactics of swimming, and has surpassed treading water. While you treading water, I'm coming through. I'm through there. I got technique good. I'm swiping down. I'm cupping hand. I'm putting it under the body. I'm in a version of efficiency. And guess what? I'm moving. All you go see is you seeing my bubbles at this point. That's expansiveness. All right. That's in the position to grow. I respect people's opinion. Move on. Okay. I like y'all in here with y'all with this beautiful candor. Hit that plus. Let me add that. Lily, you go end up being a moderator, girl, and you out here working. Come on, hit that plus sign. If you're on YouTube, let's see what we got on YouTube. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, hey, appreciate you tuning in. Determining your baseline for your basic needs requires a bit of self-reflection. That's a good one. Um, our unhealed wounds often determine our choices. Facts. Facts. You could be thriving and let me see. You could be thriving and throw us back into the state of survival because you're pouring in someone else's cup. Yes. Yes. You could be thriving and end up being thrown back into the state of survival because you've poured so much into everyone else's cup. I like that. That's a great point. That's a darn good point. So, um, in today's um in today's pod, our lunchtime pod, I just hope that you guys understand how much biologically in your energy you are affected by survival mode and how much you influence the biological structure and the energy structure of who you are and being in thriving mode. So look at it from a position of wanting to have endurance. Look at it from a position of having resilience under duress and having resilience to life. You're going to be on a path that you might not know where that path ends. You might not see the finish line, but being able to navigate through it where you might have got stung by a bee or it's too hot, your neck sweating. Oh, you need something to drink. Oh, you walked, there was a little hole, you turned your ankle. Oh, gotta watch out for the sugar honey iced tea on the ground. It's those things that come with your travel down the road of who you are trying to be and where you're trying to be in life. So I just want you to be the main purpose of this conversation is for you to be aware of the state that you're in. That to me is one of the most important things. Being aware of how you operate, because if you're operating in one that puts you in a position not to grow, not to expand, we can't get anywhere. And I want you to get somewhere. I want you to touch that finish line and then go train up some more and then get yourself back out there and get in that new race. Self care is important. Self care is definitely a sign of somebody who's thriving. Let's join the Energizer pod and yeah. Look at you, Lily. You're out here putting in that work. So, surviving is the state of maintaining existence and meeting basic needs under pressure or threat. And this is the in conclusion side of the show. um, it is a reactive mode in living where the primary objective is to avoid failure, harm, and depletion. So that's understandable. Okay. And I think some of us caught up in survival mode because I've experienced this. Oh man, experienced this. And this is just not in just spiritual growth, not in spiritual growth, but more so on the side of going out and functioning in this world system and just trying to navigate it from a place where I'm making the right decisions, but I'm avoiding failure. And guess what I'm doing? With me just trying to avoid all this failure. Oh, I got somebody transactionally calling me. Um, and me avoiding this failure, guess what? I'm not putting myself in a position to thrive because we're in school. Us being in school puts us in the position to grow. And in your growth, you thrive. So that's something that I need to work on in my self correction. Now, I know I'm not letting you harm me, I'm not letting you deplete me. And in this state of surviving, the body's fight or flight system is always active, and that's a active version of stress. You cannot sleep good at night if you're always in fight or flight mode. You cannot get the proper rest to the body. Lack of proper rest to the body means lack of proper rest to the mind. Lack of proper rest to the mind means lack of proper rest to the body. And you need to have a well rested, functioning vessel for your spirit, your operating system, and the rest of your energy to function and flow the way that you need it to function and flow. You have to. So from there, being in that system, you want to make sure that you're prioritizing that you're not only just prioritizing your immediate safety and what you're doing in your immediate, but you want to go for the long term. And then when you operate from your definition of thriving, thriving is a state, and I'm gonna say a constant state of flourishing, growing, and experiencing a sense of purpose and vitality. It goes beyond mere existence to accept psychological well-being, personal growth, and meaningful contribution. Thriving occurs when an individual feels secure. There's security there. And you're secure enough to move from a defensive posture and the defensive state in how you operate, and you can move into a more offensive one. You can draw up plays, you can run plays. Hey, you move over here, you get over there. Hey, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and do this. Hey, I'm gonna need you to stay back just in case this. Hey, we go do this in the meantime. That's a person that's thriving, pursuing goals that align with their values. And I'm gonna look up values real quick because I want y'all to understand what values mean. From the biological perspective, a state of vitality is where the body is not just functioning, but optimizing. It is characterized by lowering chronic stress, and you have a higher state of energy. So, whatever you can do to biologically get your body in a good place, you want to go invest in that. We talked about that with the appetite and the food and the stuff that you have an appetite for. So, you want to increase that vitality. Then we go look at the psychological perspective. So, we want to have the mentality from your operating system that you're going to operate in a space of abundance. You want to operate from a place of curiosity. You want to operate from the space of the ability to form deep connections. You want to operate from a self actualization. You want to operate from a space of self esteem, self assurance, security, not insecurity, and not any of those things that countered what I just spoke to. That's from a spiritual and psychological standpoint. And then the key characteristics is you being proactive on things, you looking for constant growth and expansion, you looking at and being in a position of fulfillment, and you're not looking at, oh, need. You're fulfilled, you're good. Your cup now can be in a position of overflow. And then from there, you just want to get ahead of it. It's as simple as that. So surviving, yes, is something that is not innately in who we're in, because innately who we're in, we're a spirit trusted with a vessel. You have to meet your minimal needs. So yes, survival of who you are is the utmost minimum of what you need. But when you go into thriving, you want to have that structure that you've built upon. um, Surviving is your foundation. Thriving is the structure that exists on top. That's your big windows. That's the vanities. That's the owner's suite, the master's suite. That's the nice tub that you like to bathe in. That's the big screen TV. That's thriving. Okay. That's that side of things. So I go by the name of Energizer, and this is the I Am Energizer podcast. And shout out to everyone that's tuning in on my TikTok, the Energizer underscore THA underscore DJ on TikTok. I brought my fam in today to let y'all tune in as well as I record this for my lives on YouTube. I want to create a good library that allows people to see, who I am in the I Am Energizer portion of me, and the ministry of who I am as a person um that's in the thriving mode of his life. So let's see. Very intriguing. Thank you, Energizer. Hey, you welcome. Wonderful cast. Thank you so very much. My pleasure. No need for the thanks. Made me just feel the best. Man, I want to let y'all know that you guys do love you back. Look at you. Um I just want to let y'all know that a lot of what I do is just there's a particular spiritual calling that I know that I have signed up for. And through a lot of the traumas that I've dealt with, it allows me now to step into the healed version of who I am, because I went and put in the spiritual and physical work to recognize the issues that I had, to address those things that I needed to address. And then I put myself of not just manipulating through survival, but I'm thriving and I'm putting myself in a position to where I can grow and now I can pour into others' cups. So when I show up here, I'm not just showing up for me, I'm showing up for you too. All right. I'm showing up for somebody who's doom scrolling on TikTok and just scrolling through people's pages. I'm showing up and being the person that says, you know what? I got you. You might be going through something. You might have had some things on your mind, and I'm here to be that person for you to discuss that. So just remember, surviving is the foundation of who you are, but you want to enter into the structure of who you are and build on that vessel and that housing of your values, your morals, your principles, and all those things. And you you just want to be on the upside of those things. You want to look at what you can gain from it. So I want to end on the positive note by saying that the thriving person of who you are makes your primary goals um uh, uh you make primary goals that align you up with maximizing your potential and finding fulfillment in those things. The focus of who you are puts you in a position for long-term building of a legacy and always putting yourself in a position to continue to come into the bigger realization of what your larger future vision is. The energy state of who you are is constantly operating in proactivity, not stressing out about stuff, but being the person that's going to initiate the certain change and you're going to take action and you're going to get ahead of it. The stress level for who you are, which can be an emotional state, a spiritual state, or a responsive state to the things that are around you, you want to put yourself in the position to manage the things around you in a way that does not put you in a position of stressing and oh, I need help. I need it. No, you want to be in I got this, I got this, I got this. Thriving is I got this. Okay. And if I don't, I'm gonna figure it out. That's thriving. In the relationships that you're in, you want relational relationships, not transactional relationships. And you can look up these words to help you understand the core etymology of what we're speaking to. Vitality and who your health is, and the blue blood that pumps through your body. You want vitality. You want to be able to run around with those grandkids. You want to be able to hang out with your child. You want to be of old age, chilling out with your generations that you thrived and help populate and put you in survival. That help the survival of the species, then the thrival of the species. You want to put yourself in a position where you're not having to just survive and maintain the body because you made a bunch of survival thought processes and now you got to deal with dialysis and you got to take this med and you got high blood pressure, hypertension, all those things that now you're constant in surviving mode and you don't get a chance to thrive in those later ages. And then when it comes down to your decision making, because the decision making, how you operate, if you operate from a trauma standpoint, you're going to make trauma standpoint decisions. If you haven't healed that inner child, that little girl within you that was harmed that needed to be healed, or that inner little boy within you that needed to be healed, you're always going to operate from their survival thought process, and you're going to operate from the position of uh just trying to meet the minimum, and you're not going to operate from the grown lenses in you and the person that stands up in who you are, that grew from those traumas, that have corrected those traumas, that have healed those traumas, and now you standing up within your energy and saying, you know what, we go do it like this. I'm a value-based person, and the only way you come around me, if you are a person of value and you add to my value and I add to your value, relational, and within that, we now put ourselves to be assets to ourselves and others. And that's the only way that I'm operating and seeing myself. The shift within you needs to happen. In the event that you are trying to figure out how to make those shifts, is coming out of surviving. A lot of time has to do with healing traumas and getting back to the basics of particular things that you need to do. What lesson did I skip? In the school of life, you keep going through the lesson till you learn the lesson. In the school of life, you keep going through it until you've excelled in it and you've put yourself in the position to grow from it and you learned the lesson. Do not take a loss when life has provided you with lessons. All right. So keep that in mind. What up, Kay? Good to see you. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks everybody for tuning in on the I Am Energizer YouTube podcast. And thanks everyone for tuning in on TikTok, my family here. Um, pray, pray until something happens. Vicky, not only pray, because that's just the thought process and the wavelength, get out there and crack some eggs to make the omelet. Praying is one side. That's the thought process, the programming, and the alignment of the inner voice and the heart. That's one. But the prayer is to ask. So if you understand the creator is a doer, and the creator provided you as a creator with free will. He provided you the ability, the God gifted ability to do as well. So the creator, from some people's standpoint, they then confuse it with some version of God that they were given, and their version of God that they were given is a genie. So you just pray to receive things that you won't go in and put in the work for. When you are truly aligned and you are truly thriving in what you do, which is what the creator wants to see out of you, guess what? You're going to go in and put the things there that are the values, that are the boundaries, that are the asset protectors, that are the things that you need. Oh, I need clothes. Oh, please give me clothes, give me clothes, give me clothes, give me clothes. I just want clothes. I just want nice shoes and nice shirts, and I want diamonds on my ears, and I want a nice gold chain, and I want nice underpants, and I want nice socks and shoes, and I just want to show that I just look so nice. And you don't got a house? You surviving and you asking for things out of order. We got to get you a roof over your head first. That's your minimum survival things that you need. Then we go. There we go. You got to prioritize. You got to prioritize. You in order to thrive, you got to prioritize. That's straight up. Survival, that is the minimal characteristic you need. You need to prioritize. So when you pray, that's cool. But if you're not doing the works and you're not doing the things that the creator provided you with certain know-hows, and I got one for you. Because a lot of y'all just be praying and y'all just end up in the prayer line, and that might be really long. You hear me? That prayer line might be so long. Because think about it, it's like other little kids is praying for ponies and praying for Santa Claus stuff and praying for fruit roll-ups and praying that they don't get that whooping because they report card was bad, and there's so many prayers. So I ain't heard y'all talk about the prayers being sorted out as like a mailing system or like a call center. So I'm only going to assume, based on the way how you believe in your God, and you don't honor the creator and possibly a system that he has in place, you're just saying just God is just receiving like this complete, just general population of prayers. So how do we know if your prayers is going to the right place? Like, we don't even know what number your prayer is, right? Based on that thought process. So, with that being said, when a person just says pray, I'm like, ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa. You got to have some works behind that prayer, because that's what the creator did. The creator did just, oh, I'm gonna pray that Mammy C comes about. No, it's some functioning to happen. Oh, I pray for a son. I pray for a shining, glowing, high energy ball that's going to provide vitamin D, and it's going to provide be a key component of the source of life. That was not a prayer, it was a thought and an execution. So just keep that in mind. Action. Like we played that reggae set last night. I slid in a reggae by accident, but we still have fun. It's supposed to be like 80s popish that I was on, but slid some of those um, dance hall classics. But anyway, so there's a lot of truth in your message. You gotta have priorities straight. Thank you, Roberta. Thank you. All right, guys. So yeah, I held up an hour of your day. Um, and this is my investment towards you. Oh, I should have did more general on my dang. All right, I know what I did. Okay. I know what I did. I'll do that better next time. All right, I'll grow from that. All right, yeah, guys. I appreciate you. You guys went and came and rocked out with me for about a good hour and some change. Shout out to my girl Carla sliding through. Shout out to all my gifters. I'm gonna tell y'all thank you. Y'all got any questions on this subject matter? I guess that's the biggest thing I should be asking. Any questions on um the thought process of some of the things that I'm speaking to today? Is there anything that I touched that you said, you know what, Energizer, what do you mean by that? Can you provide me some clarity in some of what you put out there? Anybody? Oh, thank you, VJ. Yeah, anybody? Yeah, any questions? Let's see. I fight to survive and fight every day to be on my feet. Thank you for your words. Maria, so I've seen you post a few things. I don't know if you ever went in depth, but I understand that. I definitely understand that. And some of us come from that place where we might not be in the position to thrive yet. And that's okay. Okay. That is okay. In the state of surviving, give it all you got. Okay. That's what, if you're in a survival state, just give it all you got. Okay. Put yourself in a position for the things that you can control. Try to thrive in those other things. For the things, yeah, because I'm not gonna sit up here and act like, oh, you just go thrive in every point of your life. I hope that for all of you, for every single one of you, I hope that you thrive in your life. But in the event that you have some things that you are just merely surviving on, just give it all you got. Okay. That's what I say to that. Just get you a plan in place. Try not to operate from just the position of just reacting, and just put yourself as close as you can from that. If there's a line of surviving and thriving, I need you to just make it so thin that survival here, thriving here, and you just so close. You could feel it. So close. I feel that thriving coming on. All right. That's what I want for you when we operate from that space. It's not always easy. You have to have the tenacity to persevere. Yes, these are all important terms. When you control what you can, yes, and work hard at that. So that's one of our hugest things. Yes. So that's what I encourage for you, Maria. For the things that you can control, just push through it. Push through whatever you can, and just give me all you got, and just stay on that side of surviving. That's a good way that I think I set up how I went from that one yeah, that one subject matter that landed us in this one. So I have another cool one that I'll put us in the position of checking out. And yeah, I want you guys to really take this to heart. So maybe like a Wednesday, I'll come. Oh, what am I doing? Maybe like a Wednesday, I'll come back and do one of these type of talks. Maybe it's like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type of thing. Maybe I'll do that, and we'll head on back. So tonight, 7:30, for those who are tuning in on the date of Monday, March 2nd, 2026. Y'all make sure y'all check me out TikTok at 7:30 p.m. We gonna be rocking out. We gonna having a good time tonight. And yeah, I want y'all to come in and join us. And for those who are tuning in any other date besides Monday, March 2nd, 2026, I hope you took some from this. I hope you implement this in your life. And um, I hope I've been a source of positive retrospect in your energy and getting you to the thriving side of life. All right. So we want to sing, we are thrivers, we are here thriving. We not, we that's not survivors and thinking from a traumatic, unhealed perspective. So I'll um be back likely Wednesday, maybe around that noon mark. Just check for my little updates and stuff like that, my little drops. But yeah, I will see you guys soon, and see you guys tonight. I'm not either till all right. So I'll see y'all tonight. Y'all have a good one. And YouTube, thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna get us up out of here. Let's see. Not oh goodness. Um, put that back. Not now. All right. So YouTube, thank you so very much for tuning in. And I'm gonna end that live. And thank you. And this is the I Am Energized